Have you ever stopped to think about the true meaning of the most intimate gestures in a relationship? Often, these moments carry meanings that go beyond what the eyes can see, revealing deep layers of love, trust, and respect. Allow me to share with you the story of a lady whose words and experiences have the power to transform the way we understand intimacy in our lives. In the tranquil region of the Appalachians, where the mountains touch the sky and the green of the forests is interrupted only by small crystal-clear streams, there existed a little town called Whispering Pines. There, people lived in harmony with nature, and traditions were passed down from generation to generation, preserving an ancestral wisdom that few places still possess. Amidst this picturesque setting lived a lady named Martha, whose wisdom about life and love was widely recognized. Martha, an 86-year-old woman with a serene gaze and gray hair that seemed to tell stories of times gone by, was often sought out by the townspeople for advice. Your home, a cozy wooden house surrounded by a garden of roses and lavender, was a refuge for those seeking to better understand the challenges of life. On a spring morning, when the flowers were beginning to bloom and the birds filled the air with their songs, a young couple knocked on Martha's door. Lucas and Rachel, married for a few years, were going through a moment of questioning in their relationship. Despite loving each other deeply, they felt there was an invisible barrier preventing them from achieving a deeper connection. They knew that Martha, with all her experience, could help them find the answers they were seeking. Mrs. Martha, Rachel began, her voice reflecting the uncertainty in her heart, we have been wondering about the true meaning of the intimate gestures we share. Do these moments hold a greater value than we can perceive? Are we losing something essential? Martha, with the patience and care she always demonstrated, smiled gently and invited the couple to sit on the porch, where the fragrance of the flowers filled the air and the distant sound of a stream provided a tranquil atmosphere. My dears, she said, her voice laden with wisdom and tenderness, the intimacy between two people is much more than a simple act. It is a form of communication that touches the heart and soul, often without the need for words. Let me tell you a story that may help you see what really matters. Martha paused briefly, allowing the couple to absorb her words before beginning her narrative. Many years ago, when Whispering Pines was still a small village surrounded by dense forests, there was a couple that everyone in town admired. Their names were Henry and Clara. They were the kind of couple that seemed to be made for each other, always united, always with a smile on their faces. But like any relationship, they also faced their own struggles. The couple, now completely engrossed in the story, listened attentively as Martha continued. Henry was a dedicated man, known for his work as a carpenter. He spent his days building furniture for the townspeople, pouring all his love and care into each piece he made. Clara, for her part, was a free-spirited woman who found joy in the little things in life. But despite all the happiness they shared, Henry felt that something was missing, something he couldn't quite identify. Martha looked at the couple with a deep gaze and continued. One night, while walking through the woods under the starlight, Henry decided to share his feelings with Clara. Darling, he said, I feel like there's something I am not able to give you, something you deserve, but I don't know how to express it. Clara, with the sweetness that always characterized her, held Henry's hand and looked into his eyes. Henry, she replied, what makes me happiest is not the grand gestures or beautiful words, but the moments when you show your love in simple and sincere ways. When we are together, hand in hand, or when you hug me for no apparent reason, it is in those moments that I feel how deep our love is. Martha paused to let her words resonate in the hearts of Lucas and Rachel. Henry, upon hearing this, began to realize that the gestures of affection he offered Clara, no matter how simple, had a profound impact on their relationship. He understood that the intimacy they shared was more than just a physical expression of love. It was a way to reaffirm the trust and respect they had for one another. Lucas and Rachel exchanged glances, recognizing that Henry and Clara's story reflected many of the insecurities they themselves felt but didn't know how to express. Martha, noticing the connection forming between the couple, smiled, pleased to see that her words were starting to make sense to them. "So, my dear ones," Martha said, her voice as gentle as ever, "remember that intimacy is a silent language, which often speaks louder than words. When you allow yourselves to be vulnerable with each other, you are building a solid foundation for the relationship, a foundation that is supported by trust, respect, and affection. Every gesture, no matter how simple it may seem, is a way to reinforce that connection, to show that you are present for one another in every sense." Martha continued her story, leading the couple to a deeper understanding of the importance of small gestures in a relationship. As time went by, Henry began to appreciate these moments of simplicity alongside Clara more. He realized that when she held his hand or when they shared a silent smile, they were, in fact, communicating in a way that went beyond the physical. These small acts became the foundation of a love that only grew over time. Lucas and Rachel listened attentively, absorbing every word. They began to understand that true intimacy was not just in grand declarations of love or extravagant gestures, but rather in the small moments they shared daily. They realized that every touch, every glance, every word spoken in silence had the power to strengthen the bond that united them. Martha, seeing that her teachings were being understood, concluded the story with a profound reflection. Henry and Clara lived many years together, always seeking new ways to express their love and affection for one another. They learned that true intimacy lies not just in the grand moments, but in the small gestures of everyday life, which reinforce the bonds of love and respect that unite them. Lucas and Rachel, touched by Martha's wisdom, thanked her for sharing her insight. They knew that this conversation had planted a seed in their hearts, a seed that, if nurtured with care, would blossom into an even stronger and deeper relationship. In the days that followed, the couple began to cherish the small gestures of affection and attention they shared. They understood that, in intimacy, what truly matters is the emotional and spiritual connection that these moments bring, and that each gesture of love is an opportunity to deepen the bonds that unite them. And so, under the starry sky of Whispering Pines, the love between Lucas and Rachel grew stronger each day, bolstered by a new understanding of what it truly meant to be intimate with someone they loved. Because, as Martha had said, true intimacy goes beyond the physical. It is an expression of the heart and soul, a silent language that says "I love you" in ways that words could never express. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more deep reflections on love and life. Also, leave in the comments your own experiences of how intimacy strengthens your relationship. Until next time.